Usually Johnny takes
Let's see.
maybe 2 of our
I
village
leave
trips.
tomorrow
They usually
morning
check for
early.
Okay.
Isn't there some? That's about the only place where there really actually is water.
We have several places, we have several big holes in
That's all
have
right.
springs.
Wasn't pushing you, just told me to
Like
remind you.
see there's dark ledges,
I
Right.
appreciate
they
it.
come out underneath. But
It's 5 o'clock, so we'll call this meeting to order. And Sheena, you want to open us?
Sure. Bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together this evening. We ask that you give us wisdom and discernment, help us to make decisions that are best for the students, staff, and families of Hardy County Schools. Thank you for your guidance. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, introductions. We'll start with that young lady sitting on the end of the table.
Sarah Earl, Emily Horn,
Orange Staggers.
Jennifer Stratton,
Dixie Dean.
Melvin Shook.
Sheena Van Meter.
Sean Pellers,
Janet Rose.
Full part.
Okay, welcome everyone. And first, child nutrition updates from Emily Thorne.
I'm assuming you're all here.
Wherever you're comfortable, but that works.
Okay, I just wanted to give you all an update on some of the things that we completed over the summer. I think I told you all that we received an equipment grant from the state for the Mooresville High School steamer at the end of the year. That has been purchased and installed, so it's going well. It's not quite as fast as the previous steamer was, but we're working on getting the training we need in order to optimize our usage of that. But it is no longer a kitchen hazard, so we're very, very grateful for that. And we're very grateful that we got the grant and didn't have to pay for it out of our normal funds. Our main food service provider, Gordon's, offered us an initiative over the summer where we could do 1,500 cases of ordering balanced between the 6 schools. We got it in 3 shipments. And in doing that, we got 1% off all of our food orders that we make this year. So for us, Sarah and I figured it up, that's about $11,000. So it was a significant thing, but it was also a significant task. So huge shout out to maintenance for helping me put all of that away in the kitchens because I tried to purchase this by myself and that was a job. And a huge thank you I put out to my kitchen staff because they're really making it work. Their kitchens were a lot fuller than they're used to when they came back. We're going to evaluate over the next couple of months how much of a hindrance all that extra product was in the kitchens to the staff before we decide if we do it again next year. We want to utilize that if at all possible because it's a lot of savings, but I also want to make sure the kitchens are running as smoothly as possible. Our summer food service program, we sent out about 3,070 meal boxes out to students over the course of the summer. By the end, it was going out to about 539 students every 2 weeks. It was a mixed bag. It definitely had its hurdles, mostly within the transportation. It wasn't really the vendor, it's just getting those meal boxes out into the rural areas and things of that nature. I think I'm definitely going to look at a different way to go next year, but it is something we absolutely want to keep continuing doing, I think, because we got a lot of feedback that it was a major help to these families over the course of the summer. We spent about $222,000 on meal boxes, and our summer food reimbursement was a little under $270,000. Of course, we had our in-person programs, but I kept those costs very, very minimal. So we came out to the good on our summer food service program. SoniQ, I think I told you all in my last presentation that we got that temperature monitoring equipment for our fridges and freezers. That was a learning curve. However, now we've got it fully implemented, and I do think it was a positive thing for us to do. It has definitely saved us food. because I have definitely gotten alerts on Saturdays and Sundays, even Sunday mornings, and gone and been able to pull food from freezers that went down and things of that nature, so we didn't lose any, or we lost a minimal or less than what we would have. So I think that was a good thing for us to implement. The kitchen staff is very happy that they don't have to keep as close of an eye, because I get alerts anytime anything goes out of compliance or goes on. So those are the big things we completed over the summer. My big current priorities are, I have gotten inventory lists from our kitchens on our large equipment that I am working on going through, checking, and compiling into a master list. Once I have that, I will get it out to you all. My hope for this list is it'll allow us to be more proactive instead of reactive. I know I have a warmer that I'm now gonna have to replace with intermediate school, because the part for it that we need is gone, and it just keeps rising temperature. So it's actually cooking the food instead of just keeping it warm. So my long-term goal there is for us to know what's gonna be coming up to the best that we can, so that we can get it replaced or fixed prior to fall. The other major focus of mine is our menus. I rebuilt them over the summer, but I am currently keeping a really close eye on them, on what the students are eating, what they're not eating, getting things replaced out, and then working with our software on the back end to make sure we're maximizing all the cool things it can do for us, like cost analysis, like the standardization of recipes across the county, things of that nature. One thing I wanted to make sure I told you all about, the state is coming in this year to any county that has a new child nutrition director. We have several new child nutrition directors in the state. That, of course, will be us, to do an evaluation on. It's an informal evaluation, so they're basically going to be checking to make sure we're doing everything correctly. I'm very, very grateful for this, because we have our formal review next year. So this year they'll be able to tell me if anything's going wrong, so that next year we'll have everything in good working order, hopefully, for our annual review. They'll be coming into 2 schools. I do not know which 2 yet, and I don't know when, but when I know, I'll let you all know. Anyone have any questions for me?
The summer food, how's that shipped out?
UPS. So the vendor, the initial problem was the vendor was sending it and it was going all the way to Northern Virginia for some reason, and then coming to us. They got a truck that then started coming straight to us, but it's still just going through UPS and everything of that nature. Even some of the control boxes I got to the board office had some issues. One had a blue liquid all over it that I have never figured out what it was. I worked with families that told me about it to get replacement boxes out to them, but it was just a massive hurdle. So we're going to be looking at going with possibly a different vendor next year. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to look at the cost comparison to having somebody preparing the meals ourselves and us sending them out. That's a very preliminary idea that I'm going to try all the vendor options first. But if that doesn't work, I want to make sure we're continuing to feed kids over the course of the summer, but I also want to make sure we're getting quality food when it comes there. It's not just an additional hassle.
Sure.
I heard more positives than negatives, but I did have a lot of negatives.
So what did you say was all over one of the vendor boxes?
I'm not entirely sure. I think something had leaked, something else on the UPS truck had leaked, because the entire top of it was blue. It looked like somebody had poured Dawn over it. We never opened that box into the dumpster, because I got a control box. Every time they got a box, we got a box from the board office, so we could be trying everything, seeing how it was
And
coming.
it had a temperature, do they have temperature strips in them
It
to
didn't
show?
have to. It was a shelf-stable box.
Okay,
So we didn't have the problems that Grant County had, because they went with a different vendor, because they did have to have temperature control, and they had a lot of issues with that, and some milk issues and various, from what I've heard. I don't know any of that for sure, but from what I've heard. So it's win some, lose some, but we didn't have to worry about that piece at least.
All of your food is shelf stable?
Yes, those boxes that we got sent out together this summer was shelf stable, even the milk, which was great.
The previous year, did we use the same company that Grant used this year?
I think so.
But the previous year we had them and they were not shelf stable. They actually had like those big cold pack things in them that look like pieces of foam, but they're cold, which was great. But sometimes you got them, and I worried, because I always sign up for my kid to get them too, so I can see and know what people are getting. It always made me very nervous, because there would be frozen meals or things in there, and you're like, I wonder if this looks like maybe it's been that worried me. just sending that out to families because that was,
It's a nice idea to have fresh food going to
Yeah.
families.
Yeah.
And you do have that additional thing.
Well, it's the delivery issues you have anyway, my God.
Correct.
Absolutely.
and both years it's been delivery issues.
Absolutely.
I mean-
And as hot as it was this
Concerns
summer,
otherwise.
you know.
Yeah.
Is there any way that families could come pick it up rather than have it?
They don't, they won't.
They won't?
Yeah. We had that issue during COVID when we tried to get meals out.
That's
We,
right.
they just, some will, but the ones that really need it the most, in my opinion, won't be able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
What seems to be the favorite menu so far this year?
Salisbury steak, but they actually, at least the little guys, are really preferring the Gordons as opposed to the Teats. I think it just tastes more like what they're familiar with. I know sausage gravy is a big hit. The school-made pizzas are a huge hit, and the cooks are very good sports about making those, because we have those on the menu a couple of times in the cycle. So those seem to be a big hit. The spaghetti that I had at Moorfield Intermediate School today went really well, I think. And they did a good job with it. So, yeah, it's the tried and true favorites is what I'm finding they seem to like.
Can I add something else onto the end of while you're here to discuss? You guys know that last year we looked at the number of adults that were eating and made some adjustments to how many per school were allowed and what those regulations were. This year we took a little bit of a harder stance on that. So you have to be giving up your lunch and to do a lunch duty. And we provided each school 3.
The three
High schools?
younger schools were doing 2 for breakfast and 2 for lunch, and the older schools are 2 for breakfast and 3 for lunch.
Meaning that we're giving them that many free adult meals to cover the teachers that are doing a lunch duty, giving up their own, or breakfast duty in order to be able to staff those. At the elementary school, every teacher has a lunch and a duty, so they definitely have a time to eat their lunch. Where at the high school, middle school, you don't get both because you're kind of, if you're covering a lunch duty, you're using your lunch to do that. We had a little bit of a kickback this year at really just one of the schools. We had some folks very upset, and I'll let you know the pro officers and officers off of the street had been coming and eating at no charge. And because they are also given an opportunity to eat lunch at a different time, we let them know that we wouldn't be able to provide them with a free lunch. And so to just give you a one adult, if they would eat 180 days at the cost we have is $4,500. So if you do the math and you think about the number of adults, we stopped that. They can still buy it. It's a heck of a deal for, $5 to get $5, right?
Yes.
$5 to get a school lunch, salad bar, all that good stuff. But we just can't provide for some and not for others. It was getting to the point where we were having a hard time justifying, yeah, we'd like to, but we can't for you and not the others. So we drew a line in the sand. And so there's been a little bit of, in case you've heard from somebody that's upset about that. The other thing that we had was DNR officers, sheriff's office, state police, town police, those folks were coming in to our high school, Moorfield High School in particular, a couple times a week and eating lunch. And we told them that they have to buy it. And so if you get any complaints about that, I just wanted you to have a heads up. And while Emily was here, she worked really hard to work with all the principals and make it work this year, which I appreciate. That's been a task every year, and she's done a great job at everything she's done. But I just wanted to give you a heads up on that if you hear anything, it's not because we're trying to be mean. It's just we had to put a lot of money, I'm sure Cher can share with you, over into child nutrition this year.
You're saying
$601,000. So
teachers, how about the principals? 'Cause I did all 3 lunches.
yeah, they're given X number of free
they
meals,
do
and
it-
they pick who it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
If
If they choose to be that person, they can get it. Yep.
Yeah.
We let them decide who the people were. We just said you have 3 people to eat for free. However you want to cover that.
And that doesn't count the kitchen staff. Of course, the
Yeah.
kitchen staff eats for free, and the pre-K staff eats for free.
Yeah.
But the child nutrition regs specifically state that it's the kitchen staff, and then anyone who aids the child nutrition program above and beyond what their normal duties are, that gets it into a really gray area.
Yeah.
So this number was what we came up with, is a way, and the principals were given that exact verbiage of, please pick individuals that you feel are assisting child nutrition programs. For example, some of the principals, instead of someone who's lunch duty, they pick their custodian, because they know their custodian is going above and beyond to help. For example, Heidi Bosley at the intermediate school, I saw today exactly how much outside of her duties that she's doing to assist child nutrition to keep everything running really smoothly and to keep that cafeteria very, very clean.
Heidi Fields, not Bosley. Yeah,
Thank you.
she's health department lady. Didn't want
Thank you.
didn't want you to have to answer a question.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yes, but yes. So they're picking their folks. But I figured that might be something that might cycle back around.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emily.
Miss Jennifer.
Okay, I can go soon as well. Great, okay. We have received a grant. Some think it's great, some think it's the devil. I don't know. It's a federally funded grant. It's actually really competitive, so I'm surprised and happy and pleased that Hardy County received one. It's the first time we've received one of these. I wrote it to get us up to $250,000 a year, and they awarded it for the full $250,000. We can get this every year for the next 5 years, as long as we fulfill all their requirements, paperwork, and check boxes. So I was just going to walk through what it is and what we're doing with these. I figured I would just tell you where we're doing it. It's all for after school. It's to do after school supports of an academic nature for students, and it's also to do enriching activities with them too. So it's not just doing homework, which I'm probably talking ahead of the paper. It's not just doing homework, but it's all after school. We're doing it at Moorfield Elementary, East Hardy Elementary, and I have on here both Moorfield Middle/Intermediate. Probably, I don't know, a little over an hour ago, I got confirmation that we are able to switch it to Moorfield Intermediate School. Because that's where the teachers are applying and wanting to do it, and the kids and the parents are signing their kids up there versus the middle school. So it's going to require a lot of paperwork change in the system for this, but they did give the waiver, the permission to switch it. It'll be after school, Mondays through Thursday, 3 to 5:15. And we have to do at least 250 hours total. So we have to keep track that we are doing, by the end of May, the week of May 1st, we'll have hit a minimum of 250 hours with the students after school doing the instruction and the enrichment activities. This would start the week of October 13th. Now, if federal funds hadn't been delayed, we would have had a lot of prep time to get ready for this. But we were not notified July 1st when it would have been awarded. We were notified, I don't know, like third week of August that we got this. So we are doing a rush job to meet the requirements and get the staff filled and get the program up and running. So we are supporting. Why are we doing this? Well, do I dare say, well, we don't have any money during the school day to give additional support and time to help with getting the students on grade level. So all this that we're doing after school is a total alignment with what we're doing at school, using our iReady information, working with the science of reading, working with our math program that we're using, our math curriculum, and those strategies, helping the kids continue exactly what they're struggling with at school, doing it after school. We're doing family trainings, 4 family trainings a year. We're also continuing with the Leader in Me, doing additional leadership skills. And it's called, I should know this, but I can't remember exactly what it's called. Like, I don't want to say winning families or families.
Is it focus on the family?
Focus on families. That's what it is. We're doing that with the Leader in Me as a taught-in component with this. And so anyway, that is a good thing with it. We're strengthening the families through the Leader in Me parent trainings. We're doing outside, when we say enrichment, volunteers coming in, doing outside the box trainings and presentations with the kids. I don't know if we can, the site coordinators and teachers will have to work with getting additional activities to come in and work with the kids and do programs and such.
And to working on student leadership skills, continue with the leader in need with the kids and the parents. We're gonna have a site coordinator and up to 4 teachers per site. We could technically have up to 80 kids per site. Right now, we don't have that. We have preliminarily 83, Dr. Van Meter says, for the whole county right now.
For now.
But we're still getting it
That's
together. There's
good.
gonna be a
That's
letter
really
go home in the backpacks. Once the site coordinators are hired after tonight, it will help
Mhm.
with feet on the ground in the buildings, do an organization to make it come together and communicate. We have partnered officially with Eastern Regional Family Support Center. They're offering their staff to do sessions. They're offering their facility to do parent trainings, and anything else. We just don't know what those anything else's are at this point. And Pilgrims has 100% supported us. They will they'll let their parents get trained in our trainings on site, more day shift, evening shift. They are willing to work with us and provide volunteers and additional enrichment activities from work. We also, I forgot to put on here, we have to have an advisory board. And this advisory board, I believe, will have to meet 4 times a year. That's to monitor how the program's going. I'm sure there'll be forms we have to complete on that and get all that in. What are we doing? Academic support, leadership development, family community engagement. This includes meals and limited transportation. So we are going to feed the kids after school. Still working out the kinks on that. Just talked with Emily this evening. Dr. Van Meter suggested, could we get a prepackaged good supper for the kids that wouldn't impact our cooks as much for big numbers of kids? So working on that. And limited transportation, posting for the bus drivers. We really need the bus drivers to make this run. It would be kind of transportation like summer school programming. And again, don't know where that would be right now. That would be based on working with the site coordinators and the kids who are enrolled in the program, where the drops and stops would be. There is $10,000 applied for with the grant for transportation at this point. So we'll see our kids and the stops and all that. This is new. It's new. We're hoping it's going to fly. It is going to fly, but it's new. We've not had this kind of luxury to be able to do a fully staffed after school program before for so many schools. Custodians, I appreciate that several custodians have spoken to me directly about their concerns with all the extra people in the building in this spot and doing this and additional messes to have to deal with. And the principals are working on making it as least disruptive as possible to the evening routines and flow and, containing it, but it is a program for the kids for after school. How are we doing this? Yeah, this county team is working on getting it rolling. I am very excited to get site coordinators hired to work with us and the schools to get it going. If we have the students attending, it's based on we get funded if we get kids who attend. So we need students to attend and come, and who can attend. Ideally, it's targeted and written. Pulled a lot on our data based on, we have an high EL population. We have a high-low SES population. We have limited activities after school. We have a high special education population, and it's focused on that. When I say limited activities after school, we don't have the Boys and Girls Club. We don't have anything like that. In the community, we have played up a big thing, like the 4-H is a big thing, and our kids are very involved, but it's not all the kids. And transportation, I've talked about how that's a limiting factor for many kids too. So yeah, we got it. But the whole intent of this is to strengthen school community family relations.
Anybody can attend.
Anybody can attend. Teachers can refer. They use it's an extension of the school day is what it's intended to be. It's not just come and do homework. It's when the data teams are meeting and the teachers are doing their planning and this kid's still not getting it. If the kid's not already in the program, it's, site coordinator talking to the parents, teachers talking to the parents, filling out the forms. We're going to have an enrollment form, so that we have all the students' information, just like school, who can pick them up, who can't, that type of stuff. It's like school after school.
How about a virtual student?
They'd have to come in. I don't know. I don't know about virtual.
They can-
Eligible.
Yeah, they can come. They'd have to come in person.
have
We
to
can't
come
do it
in person.
virtually, but yeah, as long
Oh,
as they come in. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, absolutely they
Yeah,
can.
they're Hardy County School students.
Mhm.
They wouldn't have to be there in person.
If a kid signs up for this, does he or she have to attend every day?
It would be great for the kids to attend as many days as possible, because attendance is a big factor on this. They want to see that the kids are actually coming, receiving the services and the support, and they're going to come do on-site visits. Sarah and I are going to learn much more about this. We finally have a meeting scheduled to learn October 16th, because it's a lot of money, and they will monitor us on-site several times a year. So at this October 16th meeting, they'll set up their first on-site visit, but back to the attendance question, they want the kids to come. Now, if you're gonna be picked up at 4:30 every day, to me, you were present. That's the attendance thing, that's better than nothing. Football season starts and you've got to get to youth league football or whatever, or baseball, you come, and again, you get picked up to go to practice, that counts. We're gonna have that count.
Will the limited transportation keep some kids from being able to attend?
Actually, the limited transportation is to try to get kids to it who normally couldn't attend to attend. But again, we don't know who they are yet.
The buses won't be able to take everybody home.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, so I mean, you're going to have some kids that because you can't pick them up at 5 and drive them clear to wherever they're, South Fork or wherever they might live, to their residence, to their door, but it should help getting them closer to home with regional drop-off spots.
Someone could pick them up.
Yeah.
Do all three of these schools have the Leader in Me program?
All three of them now do, yes.
Oh, Moorfield
With
Middle.
Intermediate, because we're.
You moved the spot. That's right.
Literally,
That's right.
like, maybe an hour and 35 minutes ago, got official confirmation we can switch the site. And I put Moorfield Middle because they always want to do an after-school program, but we just weren't getting the kids signing up or the staff wanting to do the program. Yeah, and
Okay.
the teachers
I
were
could-
overwhelmingly coming out and applying. There are so many from Moorfield Intermediate and so many kids, and
I can see that.
yes,
I can.
it's new. There are going to be quirks. I don't think it's going to be a great big mess. I think it's been a learning curve for everyone.
Will Pilgrim's volunteers be allowed to take, say they're working the day shift and they still have 2 more hours to go on their shift? Will they be allowed to leave to come volunteer?
I will
That's
get
cool.
those details worked out. I don't know. I'll ask
Oh,
Tracy.
okay. It sounds exciting.
It's a lot of work is what it
I can
is.
see.
But in the end, it's really good. I hope that it makes the academic impact that it's intended to make. And you all have had, I will say Hardy County Schools has had a great turnout of staff wanting to work this program. I was
That's
so
awesome.
scared nobody was gonna do it. That's not the case.
That's great.
It's not the case.
Is
There are a
there-
lot of people, which is a great thing.
Is there a minimum number of students before?
There's no minimum number of students. And what Lauren has put on all the postings has been, it's dependent upon enrollment. I mean, it's intended with a site coordinator and 4 teachers per site to be able to, really work with the kids, small group focus and function and not just run wild. If there are 20 kids,
Continuing to receive the
Yeah.
grant is based on the number of students, so.
we really need kids to attend. Yes.
It is
We need-
based on the number of students.
It's that when I say attendance is big, we need kids to attend and participate and show growth to get our money back, to keep getting our money.
So this year we're guaranteed the
This year, we're
250,000,
guaranteed the 250,000. If we
but we have to
don't
utilize it to
turn
keep
out
getting
in
it.
attendance, then we'll have to either do, well, I don't know, I'll say what I think we have to do because I'm still learning. We'll have to do a plan of improvement of how we're going to recruit and make it different to get that attendance and get the kids here, capture them and help them succeed. Or I don't know what the other option is. I guess just not get all the money, not get the funding to keep it at the level that it is. Oh, and the teachers who are hired are all going to be, we're tentatively working on training for the Leader in Me portion, the focus on families training, because we have to get trained, like October 9th or 10th. it's in the works. So,
I think it's great, and it seems that it's a bit of an extent, everybody loves the interventionists. And this is intervention, on an even closer level, it seems.
if we can
It'll
get
be
the
really good
kids
if
to
they'll come.
The benefit of having an interventionist during the day is you've got them there to maximize that time. It's getting the kids to stay after school and get to do this is the hard part. But if we feed them and try to take them home, that's the attempt here. And we can do this for 5 years.
Well, and the kids get fed. They're being cared for. Parents don't have to worry about babysitters.
Oh,
for
I've
those
heard people say,
2 hours.
it's gonna be a babysitting thing. Well,
No,
you
no,
know what?
no.
That's fine. If they
That's not,
babysit, no, but I've
that's
heard
not
people
what
say
I
that in a
implied.
negative way. I've heard it.
I
not
think it's a
in
good
negative
thing
way.
because if you can help families out not
But if
having to
they're
pay for
gonna be
daycare,
there,
I think that's a
that's right.
fantastic
They're
thing.
gonna
That
be
was
there
my
after
point.
school,
Yeah.
They're gonna get the benefit of it,
Sure.
no matter what the reason is for staying.
Yeah, it's a good thing if we can help our families
I
out.
think it's a great thing.
Times are
and
tough.
Congratulations.
Yeah, really proud.
I was so
Very good.
shocked when I got that email.
It's a good thing.
It's a great thing. Just, yeah.
Okay, so next up are public comments, and I don't think we have any. So we move on to the consent items.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the consent items. All those in favor?
I just had,
Aye. Opposed, and we're approved 5-0.
I think Melvin has a
I just had a
question.
question. I can
Oh,
get, I'll
gosh.
ask it later.
I'm so
That's no
sorry.
problem. It was just about 2 invoices. We'll get to it later.
Sure.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Under unfinished business, financial updates.
Expenditure by object report, you guys have that in front of you or somewhere to see it. We still see that the payroll's not been encumbered yet, which is normal for this time of year.
I
don't have it.
one.
He sent us the email.
That email.
Separately. Oh,
I didn't know.
I didn't get it either.
I didn't open it if I had it.
You want to glance at this while
I'll look at Melvin's.
Melvin's share with you?
If you don't mind.
Give Roy a second of those two.
I'll look at it.
Okay, the payroll still hasn't been encumbered, I just haven't gotten finishing year end, and we'll roll all that forward and encumber the payroll. Hopefully by, well, not reflected in September, it's probably October. But other than that, there really hasn't been anything out of the ordinary, at least not yet this year. If you look at the prior year or prior month to date, and then this month to date, it's very, very similar, in what's been spent so far. You will see a little decrease in payroll, which was what we were trying to get closer to our ratios there. And then some of the other stuff that we've been looking at throughout the year as well. On top of that, here is the vision and dental. I just wanted you guys to see this. And I can get the reports when we have the budget retreat this fall.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We've been lucky so far, it hadn't gone up, and then this year it was going to go up. In the second column there, you can see the original renewal they gave us. It was going to increase by 13.2%. So we asked them to put it out to see what other companies might be interested or offer the vision dental similar to what we were currently offering. And Emeritus, or however you say that, is the only other one that even gave a proposal back for vision and dental based on the number of participants that we had. And it was even more. So Guardian, when we did put it out for other companies, did come back with a revised renewal that increased 10% from the current. So it was originally going to be about a $22,000 increase. It's now going to be about $16,500 increase. Now, not all of that is ours because that includes all of our employees that also have their families on it. So not that full 16,500 is not our increase. And we can look at that closer. The budget retreat, I usually get you guys one of those reports that shows how much our employees have used it and what the benefit has been during the year. And we can look at that. Insurance is just one of those things that seems to continue to increase. So we were lucky for those couple of years that it did not increase in us. I don't know what it will trend going forward. I do know more people have seemed to start using it and optimizing it more than in the beginning, but
And that's just the vision.
vision and dental.
It
It's
is
both.
dental too,
Yeah,
okay.
both listed there. The vision they kept the same. Dental, when they came back with the second request, when Guardian came back with it, they kept the vision the same and just increased the dental. But it was an overall increase of about 16,500.
And-
Aware of that.
How many people does that premium cover? I mean, you said that you don't know about families and stuff. You'll let us know
Yeah,
about
we
the
have
numbers.
almost, it seems like it was like 280 some employees. I mean, we have almost which was part of in order to even enter into that dental and vision, you had to have a large number of large percent of your
Uh-huh.
employees participate.
Okay,
It seems like it was like 287 and 292. It fluctuates a little bit here or there because sometimes folks drop off or add, as they come in. But we have a large percent that participate, at least individually participate. And I can get you guys that report and break it down exactly, the total number. When we have the budget retreat, is that something you guys would like to see again?
On the other insurance, like for health insurance, I was talking to a bus driver at the football game the other night. Did it go up significantly?
For some folks, yes.
See, this person was telling me what their take-home pay was, and I couldn't believe it. He said after. It was-
And there's several factors, depending upon what plan you have and then what, level you hit.
Did it go up like 10 or 15% for some people?
I would say so. And then it also depends on too, whether you have a spouse that has a participating, we have a few folks that have spouses that are employed where there's insurance options. And if they still choose to be on, then there's a penalty. So some folks get hit with a penalty if they include their spouse on their plan.
And it's pretty high.
It's pretty high.
And it went up pretty high this
Yeah,
year.
the penalties, so I'm not sure what the state will end up doing with that. I mean, that's kind of always been one of the benefits, or one of the claims that, if you're in education, you have great health
Like in the old
insurance
days when
at
I started.
little cost, but if it keeps to continue to go up at this rate, that's not gonna be a valid,
No, it's not an incentive anymore.
right, it's not gonna be a valid incentive for folks to go into education. Anyone have any other questions? Regarding any of
Thank
that?
Did you want to ask your financial question there under updates?
Oh, yeah, I can, if you don't care.
No, I think that's
It
a
was
good
just two
place for it.
simple ones. The 98,000 we paid for the track, was that the money that the governor had sent in? That didn't come out of our general fund? Okay. So they haven't asked for the amount that we had committed to that?
Well, we ended up paying about 20 couple thousand. We paid 120 some thousand total. So about 20,000 of that we paid.
But we have not borrowed that money.
We have
That's
not
come out of
borrowed.
our
That was my
normal,
question,
yep,
right?
yep.
We have
We have
not
not borrowed the
borrowed.
100,000 yet.
Because we never quite got worked out how to do a lease with a local bank.
yeah, they can't.
It has to, it's such a weird.
And we've had,
Ultimately, there's no difference between going in and borrowing money or leasing it, but
yeah,
just the
If it's not
terminology.
in your,
State code says we can only enter into a lease and not.
if that's not your business to lease, then you can't do a loan on a lease. It has to be part of your business. So,
Do you want to talk about that money and the borrowing and the other thoughts that were presented to us by administrators?
Yeah, and going forward,
Or I can't-
speak.
Sure. So
Matter.
we have not borrowed that money. One of the presentations when the boosters came to us was that they wanted us to still borrow that money, and they wanted to use that money to build onto the facilities there by the track. If you remember, it was like adding additional bathrooms, locker rooms, and all that stuff. So we were recently approached by middle school administration stating that they did not think that necessarily needed to be done. So before we proceed any further with borrowing that money and doing that, we need to sit down and talk to those folks involved with that plan to just work through what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done to make sure we have that we're not borrowing money that we don't need to borrow to do things that we don't need to do, if that makes sense. We've already paid the $20,000, so there would be $80,000 out there left. Nobody's really taken any more steps on the facility side of it. So we just wanted to get that worked out. So just a heads up to you guys that it has been brought to our attention that maybe we don't need to redo the bathrooms and the locker rooms or not maybe to the level that we thought we were going to have to before, because the suggestion was made that a lot of the Moorfield schools would be able to utilize the Moorfield Elementary School new exterior gymnasium, and maybe that money was better spent being put towards flooring than it would be on that end. But I'll talk a little bit later on about other ways we've tried to get money for the flooring too, just to fill you in and give you the whole picture. But just a heads up, we don't have any recommendations or changes right now, but we do need to work with administration on that and make sure that we don't want to do something that just the boosters are requesting we do if administration is not in support of it. So just FYI on that end. We want everybody on the same page. Make sense?
Thank you.
Was there another one?
No, it was just about the advanced technologies. It was 54,000. I was wondering what that was for. I knew it was for cameras and all that. I was wondering what school or what that was for.
It's not the intercom.
No, the intercom was,
I think it was cameras.
Oh. Yeah,
that's probably is that what Jessica?
it was the upgrades to all of the cameras at Moorfield High and I was gonna say both high schools. We just added those whole new sections that she talked about at the last meeting.
Right. She could give us a report on that next time, see what that was.
You said it was 56K.
54 or something.
54, yeah, I'll get it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. She used technology
I
money for
assume
that
that's
from the
what it
budget.
was, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to-
I
curious
saw
what it
in
was.
these paid invoices that evidently we entered into a contract with Shenandoah Refrigeration for preventative maintenance. And it looks like that it's 400, looks like it's almost $500 a month. Is that?
Is
I
that-
mean, I know we've been having a terrible time with the seals and the seals falling off and stuff, but what was that contract?
So we put out a refrigeration bid every year. No one ever bids. So Shenandoah in the past, and I chose to keep that this year, we enter into an agreement with them. They'll do our preventative maintenance.
Is that a monthly charge? That 400 or something a month?
I didn't know that it was. I will
Well,
look
I
into
thought
that
that-
and look.
That was for
So
one
we
school.
looked at that.
Each school was.
Oh, they preventative maintenance, I believe that was just over the summer. Yes, sorry, my brain had to catch up.
Mhm.
Yes, they do preventative maintenance over the summer and then they're just available as we need them.
But that wasn't a contract, a yearly contract with them.
Yeah, it's a yearly agreement we do with them. We put out the bid every
Okay.
year to
But it's
try
only one time a year?
the preventative maintenance, yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then they're available as we need them.
Right.
How much do they charge?
At a discounted rate, yeah, at a discounted rate if we have to bring them in for work because we have an agreement. It's a discounted rate than what it would be if we just called them straight up. But we have to request them to come after that one time and we'll visit.
Because we seem like we have a lot of problems with those freezers. And it's probably worth it. I mean, so you don't lose food.
Absolutely, yeah, we have to have somebody that's willing to come in, since we don't, that's way outside the realm of what maintenance. be able to handle, but yes. So, but I will get you the hourly, what they charge us hourly based on past invoices. We haven't had to call them for anything. I'm not gonna finish that statement. But I'll get you the hourly based on past invoices.
Well, then the other thing I noticed on these invoices, and I don't know if, I mean, this is kind of a Josh question. It seems like that bus 55, I don't know if that's one of the newer ones, but man, it's really racking up
55?
some dollars.
Okay, Janet asked about 65.
65 was $9,500 in parts. Just parts and no
55
labor.
was, that's the
55
handicap
was
bus, I
about
believe, the
2,000
special
in
needs bus.
parts.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that a
like,
new bus too?
I don't know.
55, it's 55 to
55
65.
is new.
How
They're
about
both
60?
new.
Well, the higher the numbers, the newer the bus will be at this
He-
point.
I don't know where the numbers started.
he said that they were having problems with that one kind of bus, and I thought, man.
Wanting to go to international and move away from Bluebird, right? So that's
Yeah.
the plan.
Well,
So,
I wouldn't think.
Well, that's what he's wanting to do.
Well, you saw what we did with 53 and 14 in those, right?
Okay.
That was the most expensive buses we repaired and the most trouble we had.
Okay, so we're getting quotes. So if you guys don't want to do that, say we need to make that known now so we can get the leasing done, because we had the quotes. I think the concern was, and I don't know anything about buses, so I'm totally up to you all. The concern was, I guess, that the Bluebirds were starting to have issues more and more, and so they thought maybe that the international was a better option. But I'm not
was a
qualified to have an opinion on
particular
that.
part that Bluebird was having, they're having trouble with Bluebird. And Josh said it, but I don't know, do you remember hearing what it was?
I saw lots of gaskets.
It
On
was,
these invoices, lots of gaskets were
yeah, he
being bought.
said that they're having problems with this part and that International doesn't use it. They use a different part. And that he said it's been in the shop more than it's been out on the roads.
Yeah, I knew they were having more issues with them, but I don't.
Milton's expert. There,
Yeah.
is
You're
there,
the
is
one with
International a
knowledge.
better bus?
I have
mean, you
no
have an
idea
opinion.
now.
When you
Well, we left International, went to Bluebird.
I mean, yours,
Oh, geez, been many years ago.
that
Could have been.
be a difference now with
Yeah, it could have been.
turnover
Sure.
management at that level.
Right.
Correcting their issues.
Do you know if we've talked
Bluebird
to the other
had-
counties?
I don't know the answer to that. We'll have to ask Josh and see. I think he and Andy had talked about it, and they were the ones that thought they should maybe try to go to international. But we're getting quotes, so when he gets those quotes, we can definitely compare the two, and maybe lease these 4 that we're going to lease, and take a look at how they work for us before we buy any more, and give them a year, and then not do a full definite switch, but
Or maybe they've
Try it out.
already done this, but they could poll some other counties.
yeah, that's what we'll have to ask. I'll see what
They
they've
use
gotten.
the same-
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said that there was some particular part, and it wasn't just generic engine, that they were having problems with, but I can't remember what the name of it was that he was saying. So,
Well, I could volunteer to go back through this and look at what the parts were. But other than gaskets, I don't remember.
We'll find out.
Find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll ask him and have him check with others and see what they're doing statewide. They can send something out. See what other folks are using.
anything else under financial updates? Next is discussion and approval of Baker Park deed.
So, just to have kind of a brief synopsis on where we were at with things, ultimately today, what I think you all should be voting on is a determination of whether or not to leave the deed as is, or to engage with the county commission's attorney on negotiating any changes of terms. To take you back, the last communication that I had with Mr. Heichman, who has been retained by the county commission and representing their interest on this, really 2 main portions that he was looking at. One would be regarding a harmless provision, upholding harmless provision is wanting to that, my understanding, and he could clarify a little bit more on this. This was really the secondary issue of the two, but wanting to change language to make it less strict on the county commission as far as their liability exposure in the event that something were to happen, which is very common for attorneys to request that for their client to have less
Liability.
being less open to liability. The main portion though was the reversion language. So in the event that the park would fall into disrepair after a 3-year period, the superintendent would be able to be the individual responsible for or have the discretion of determining whether or not the park was in disrepair, to then trigger the park essentially coming back to the Board of Education from the county commission. One of the things that Mr. Heichman had suggested was changing that language a bit to have an independent determination and not being left to the superintendent. Because remember too, is that this is something that is going to go for years and years and years. So having I think taking the position that he wants to have some foresight as to some potential issues. One of the things that he had suggested there was, I believe they're called land commissioners, which are used by the court anytime that there's a land dispute that gets into court, having people go out that make that determination as to values, use, and that sort of thing of the property. And what part of that discussion was is that there would need to be, if that is the route that is ultimately gone, that those would need to be independent, neutral folks that are not employed by the Board of Education, not employed by the county commission making those decisions. And again, that's something that would have to be drafted in a way, if that's something that you all vote on tonight.
How many people when they do a case like that, how many people do they usually appoint?
I think it depends on a lot of different things. Size of the tract, what the dispute is. If we're talking about something that if it's just going to be put up for auction, let's say, versus if it's going to be, my apologies, I'm blanking on the terminology for it, but essentially splitting the land, drawing lines, new property boundaries for it. I think it can depend.
Probably the larger tract, the more people.
I would say so. I would say. I think that just kind of tracks and makes sense. However, I think that it should be an odd number, so then you don't have you have a majority versus just an even number, and can have you.
I have a question. Is that something that if we leave things the way that they are, and let's just say in 5 years, I'm lucky enough to still be here, and I go and notice that it needs to be, can I myself then say I would like to have, do you call them land commissioners?
So I think that's something that could be beneficial to do. It's not within the language of the
Right,
agreement.
but it could be done anyway.
I
outside
think
of
so.
that,
I think
okay.
that those additional things, and if I were in a position of advising to that, I think that rather than just relying on the sole independent determination, I think that it's safer to have those additional determinations
Okay.
along with yourself.
Just to cover me in the end. So my recommendation to the board would be to leave the deed as presented, that has currently been presented with no changes made, and then proceed at that point.
I'd like to make that motion to we present county commission with a deed that had been originally written up, signed, and ready to go at that point, as it is.
So we have a motion and a second to leave the deeds as are and proceed. So all those in favor of the action? Opposed? And we're approved 5-0. Okay, under new business. First thing, West Virginia School Service Personnel Day proclamation, September 18th.
So we missed this because we got it after the last meeting, and now the day has come and gone, but I think it's still worth reading. Yeah, so I'll just read it in honor of Service Personnel Association, if that's okay. Whereas service personnel are school service personnel are involved in nearly every aspect of education by maintaining buildings and grounds, preparing and serving meals, keeping school facilities clean and orderly, and assisting in the classroom, as well as providing administrative support functions, safe transportation, and many other specialized services. And whereas school service personnel are instrumental in West Virginia's responsibility to educate all students, and whereas these dedicated individuals serve the children of West Virginia in our public education system and have an important role of non-instructional service to the educational system, and whereas it is fitting we recognize the outstanding work these individuals do for the state, their communities, and the students enrolled in West Virginia schools, now therefore be it resolved that we proclaim September 18th, 2025 as West Virginia School Service Personnel Day. And I know had this happened before, the board would have voted to approve and uphold that. So just in recognition of all of our service personnel, we appreciate them. And they're definitely worth honoring.
I think the reason that got delayed was it was presented to the governor for a proclamation and he didn't follow through with
I
it.
saw that, which is disappointing. Very disappointing. Yeah.
Okay, next thing, approval of building usage permit.
Yeah, so I passed that out to everyone. Did I give you a copy? Apparently, except for myself. It's what I had emailed you before. And Janet, I want to apologize to you because you asked if it would apply to every school. And I said, no, Moorfield Intermediate, because in my mind, they all had different usage fees, but that is incorrect. I think the gymnasiums all have the same usage fee. There's like 150 for there are different fees for different rooms, but the gyms I think all do. So I think that we could probably assume then and adopt this as the usage fee for the gymnasium and make that across the board apply with your approval. And we would do it as an administrative memo, which would tack it on then and make it official on that end. So if you guys are okay with that. It just gives you the math to show you how you come to the approximate $25 per hour, which would then be the $50 per week for the 2-hour usage that week and so forth. And I added in, Dixie, your recommendation about the 4 hours. If it was under 4 hours, you would just round up and do so that worked for everybody.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the building usage formula as established. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it's approved 5-4. Next, approval of fiscal year ending 2025 financial statements.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
We'll share. I'll get on one. I've seen it. You have an extra? You don't need it?
I have one.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
What I thought you guys tonight was the governmental funds, balance sheet, and revenues and expenditures, which is pretty much the numbers that flow throughout the entire financial statements. If there's any other pieces that you want to see, or the budget approved, if you want to go into the whole detail of the balance sheet on top shows the assets and liabilities for all of the funds right across the top of the page. And then at the top of the columns, you'll see Fund 11, Fund 61, Fund 65, 70, 21, 31, 41, and 51. Fund 11 is our general current expense fund. And I don't know if you want me to go down through all of these columns or not. But that shows all the assets and liabilities we had as of June 30th. What is probably most beneficial to go over is the fund balances, the last part down there. Under the liabilities is the fund balance. for each account. And that kind of shows what we had remaining as of the end of the year. So you'll see in the general fund, the unassigned amount at the end of the year was just a little above 2.3 million. Now, out of that, at one point, I think I said we were probably closer to 2.5 million. Out of that was the $238,000, the first payment for the field lights. So we did end up being close to the 2.5 million. Fund 61 is the special revenue fund. That's where a lot of the federal and state grants come in. We keep them separate in projects in Fund 61. Fund 65 is all the school activity that we didn't bring into our financials until 2 years ago with GASB, and it came into our financial statements. Fund 71 was the Easter funds that are no longer, they were finished as of September 30th of the year. Fund 21 is the bond. We do not have 31 or 41, and we now have Fund 51 with the SBA projects that are going on, just to give you guys an idea of what the different funds are. As we did mention earlier, and I'll break all that down for you when we do the budget retreat also, but we did end up covering child nutrition by $601,000, which is the largest since I've been here.
Ever, yeah.
Now, on the flip side, remember that the salaries are included in that, so it would be a lot closer. Coming even if we would back those out.
It makes sense though to leave them in,
Right.
because
Yeah, I
they're,
mean,
they're
you
an
wanna know the
expense
total
to that cost
to that
center.
program. Yeah, you want to know that the,
I mean, we
and it would be
know,
impossible to back out unless we were right at formula where we would be able to justify that every position was fully funded. When we're over formula, and we're not by a lot, but when we are over formula, it would be hard to justify whether you're paying for the financially, which extra person you're paying for and which you're not. You know, like it would get a little trickier to true it up exactly to where it should be. But just since I've been here, that's the most that we've had to cover nutrition. So hopefully by finding out some of that information with the meals and stuff that was going on, and there was the software on the computers that wasn't working accurately, you know, with some of that stuff getting fixed and things getting done, hopefully it'll be a little bit of a different story going forward. The second page, I don't know if you guys have any questions on any of the others. The second page is the statement of revenues and expenditures. Shows all the revenues that came in for each fund across the top there, and then the expenditures as well, in the main categories of instruction, supporting services, food service, community service, capital outlay, and debt finance leases, as well as transfers in and transfers out, which balance out there. To get the ending fund balances in each fund.
It looks really simple, Sarah. You just have these 3 little sheets that you just plug numbers into, and
Just plug them in.
all the just plus minus, and there it is, right? I know. Oh, I've been around you for the last couple months. I understand.
Page by page.
Page by page.
I'm happy you're doing it.
And then the last sheet was just the fund balance detail, which just kind of breaks it down to show you what's made up of the fund balance that you have in each account. In the general fund, the prepaid item was just Bren. We pay it. We always, so that policy doesn't gag on us. We always pay it early. So that prepaid item is the Bren payment. The $44,000 is the scholarships that we're still holding that we keep separate. And then the assigned amounts, that 600 and some is technology, the little projects that come in that we just kind of keep separate because we know what those come in for. And then the unassigned is right around 2.3 million. Which isn't a bad place to be.
Nope.
Especially with the county, it doesn't have a levy.
Right.
We're doing real well.
I think we're doing really well, and I think we've got past it. You know, we've
I bet
really
they
tried.
win.
We've really tried to stay close to formula, at least as close as you can. I mean, it's almost impossible to be.
Yeah.
Exact. You know, you have some counties that are operating 300,
We
400 people.
haven't been in the red for, when I first came on board, I'm sure Dixie, for me, we were in the red every year. We haven't been in for several, the longest period that I can remember. Someone's doing a fine job. Well, I mean, it's going to happen, you know that.
Well, I think the worst that it was, I wasn't actually on the board then, was when Mr. Wetzel was here and it exceeded $1 million. I think that's the worst that,
Well, then it carried on the entire time Barb was superintendent. I think he was in the red then too. Actually, when Dr. Dodson came in, he changed a lot of things. He wasn't here very long, but he did some good things financially, whether you liked him or not.
Well, and that's I mean, the state gives good guidance on how to stay out of a deficit, but it's just hard sometimes, you know, like, I mean, it's hard to stay at formula, especially when a school is excelling with a little extra help and then you try to take, you know, like it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that. It's hard to close schools, even though the state gives you a formula, at which point you should shut the school down. Like, I mean, it's still some of those things are hard to do, even though they're.
Mhm.
Since Dr.
And
Van
if you
Meter's
have
been,
trouble.
we have never been to the red. Right. We've
Right.
never.
It's by far a group effort. I mean, it truly is.
Well,
Sarah's done a
yeah,
great
well,
job,
she
and
keeps, yeah.
Vita did a good
did
job
too,
too.
yeah.
She kept things in order, but you have to talk to
But
each
we're
other, and
lucky considering we don't have a levy.
the board has done a really nice job of keeping track of things where you guys are looking at the right things and bringing up to our attention things we don't catch, and that's important
Look
too.
at
So
the
it's
counties
a
they've
good
taken over, and some of that's been financial.
has been. Yeah, I
And
think it's a
those are
really good
counties,
balance.
For the most part, that have levies, I think.
Yeah,
Well, most counties do.
most do. Yeah,
We're one of the few.
a lot of them
What, six
not
or
having
seven
certified
counties?
teachers.
It was 7, I think. 2
Yeah,
in the
that
last-
hurts too.
there's in the last-
Who did?
2, I think, maybe, so it might be up to 9 or so.
that didn't get renewed. Yeah, there were a couple more.
I knew Randolph
But we're
had
still the
lost theirs,
minority.
then they ran it again, they get passed.
We're still the minority for sure.
Yeah.
but-
Definitely my one. Thank
Grant,
you, thank you.
Grant has a levy, right?
Hmm.
That's what I thought.
And Pendleton doesn't, but Sarah pointed this out to me the other day. They're operating at a couple hundred kids over because they get that minimum. Yeah, you get the base
They
of
get that through
1,400
state- they get that through
Yeah.
state
So they're getting it right.
because of
The
what-
economy is.
that they don't
yeah.
have to vote on,
Yeah.
or so that's really good for them. But yeah, so just
We don't want to be in that shape.
we don't want to be no, we don't want to have to take advantage of that. That's for sure.
Okay.
It's right here, Mr. Hines. You
Yeah,
know
I
that.
saw that.
Okay.
I was looking.
Good deal.
You need to approve those too. You have to approve those also.
Okay.
Motion to approve the financial year ending 2025 financial statements.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the balance sheet and the statement of revenue and the fund balance details for ending June 30th, 2025. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hey, Doug. It's like, they say, an adult, yeah, don't holler at the door. Yeah, so. We'll wait on his, on his vote today. Yeah, don't become your parent yelling. We could do a split. You could have half the two Milton, and I could have half the Reuben.
I'll take the Reuben vote.
So we'll count our votes soon as Mr. Hines.
Are you a yes to approve the financial statements? Vote yes.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, so we're approved on those at 5-0.
4.
4-0, I'm sorry, Mr.
Harper.
Mr. Roy. has left the meeting, so. Board members, superintendent discussion, no action.
You got, yep, you got D,
The
attachment 2.
new
Oh,
business
gee, I'm
D.
so sorry.
You're all right.
Um,
Oh, it's just-
under item D, the approval, for the, of use of school facilities policy, KBE, for first reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve, the use of school facilities. It is, KBE. It looked to me that, is it the things that were bolded?
It's the
No.
italicized, the playground field, East Hardy Elementary School for
Okay,
150.
so that was the only one.
Yeah.
Well,
We need to add
then
that.
the principals may waive, did you see that?
That was
Exterior
already-
gym, we
there
already
was
had it
That
in
was
there.
already
Mhm.
there.
Yeah, this is, yeah, all that was there. The Moorfield Elementary gym was there. It's just the playground field at East Hardy
Just
Elementary
the
School.
playground,
Mhm.
field at East Hardy Elementary School, right?
Right, Little League
Just
football
for-
practice is there currently. And we were just concerned because we didn't have a way to require them to provide liability insurance because it wasn't part of our policy. So Mrs. Morris has been concerned about it every year, so we went ahead and added it.
Okay, okay. So, any further discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, and it is approved 4-0. Okay, now board members and superintendent discussion.
Did you want to go first? You had something that you told me this morning you wanted to share. I hope you remember what it was. 'Cause well, you think about it and I'll go next. Okay. We talked about the budget retreat being on November 21st.
21st?
20.
Sorry, 20th, Thursday, not Friday. I circled the wrong one. The 20th, which is the Thursday at Warden Lake at 8:30. We'll start there.
At Warden Lake
Mm-hmm.
at 8:30.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then I wanted to let you know that we applied for a school building authority project. That application was submitted and was for the elevator at East Hardy Elementary, as well as the flooring at Moorfield Elementary School's exterior gym. So we've put in a request for those two projects. We'll have to go and present to them in November, and then they'll make the decision. It's usually around like the second week of December, like December 13th, 15th, somewhere in there. We go to the lottery building and find out if we receive that. We're also getting a visit on October, I think the 13th, from Andy Neptune. It's the 13th or the 15th. That morning, they're coming actually to visit. So that's a good sign, and we'll make sure we show him the spaces and what that looks like. So I wanted to update you on that because we talked about the other money earlier and what would there be a need to use some of those funds for that gym floor. But I would like to wait, obviously, and see if we get the school building authority project approved first, and we'll go from there. The water line and the sewer, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. And I asked Josh to kind of write me up some updates on the things that have been happening since the last meeting, because I knew, he obviously wouldn't be here this meeting, and I wanted to make sure I got everything to you. So Moorfield Elementary School, there were sewer issues. I'm sure you probably heard about, but they were coming up in the kitchen area, and we got those taken care of. Backups in the gym, cafeteria area, successfully unblocking the lines each time. With the assistance of the town of Moorfield and their camera inspection, we identified significant buildup in the 1970s cast iron lines, particularly a large blockage at 118 feet. Taking proactive measures, we utilized a rental machine from the Tri-County Tools in an effort to clear the obstructions. Following our intervention, there have been no further reports of sewer problems in that area. We remain vigilant, monitoring the sewer system for continued functionality to prevent disruption. So that's the Moorfield Elementary School issue.
Cat's darn.
And this is interesting because even with Moorfield High School, when they rebuild a school, they don't, I call it the guts, but the infrastructure that's underneath isn't part of that project. So you're working with the original pipage. Okay, after receiving an initial call regarding sink blockage at the meat lab at Moorfield High School, the team discovered a tennis ball obstructing the line and identified a failing grease trap. With the assistance from the town of Moorfield, which we greatly appreciate, Doug Bungle and his crew did a great job helping us out. They cleared the line and realized that the sewer line simply ended. So it was blocked off. So it actually was not flowing like it needed to. Through the use of a camera and location device, we located the issue, and with approval from the Hardee County Health Department, ER Excavating installed a second trap at the line's end. Currently, the trap requires frequent pumping, and our future plan involves adding a pump to reroute the waste back to the nearest manhole for a more sustainable solution. So there's a tank now that is working. Talked to Sarah about it this morning, and I think Josh said it's like $1,000, Eugene Rinker said, to put that pump on there so that the pump will then pump it into the sewer line and it'll exit, so we don't have to keep coming in and manually getting it pumped out. So those are those two updates. And then the update on the water, I don't know if you heard Janet ask about that earlier, but there was a water leak that we had been monitoring, trying to find, thought they found it, fixed a piece. When they dug down and fixed that part, a few days later, we realized there was water coming up in a separate section, opened it up, fixed that part, and now down over the hill, there's more water that was rolling out. So we have the water turned off when it's not absolutely needing to be on, and using ER Excavating to come in and just go ahead and replace that whole section of line to hopefully fix it and be done with the continued issues on that end. So that was that part. Enrollment. So we are currently, last year, our second month enrollment as of October 1st was 2,183. And currently we have 2,153. So we are 30 kids behind where we were last year.
Position and a half, basically.
But basically, yeah.
That's not
Which
bad.
isn't terrible. Yeah, thank you. I felt the same way, Mr. Hines. I was kind of like,
I thought it was
because there for a while we thought it was
100.
100. Yeah, we did. We had some numbers from last year, reports from last year that weren't pulling everything. We also have a Weavis training on enrollment. Myself, I think Sean's going to sit in on that. Sarah's going to sit in on that. Oren and Patty, and that's on Wednesday with the department. We just reached out and said, can you just tell us to make sure we're doing everything correctly when a student is being enrolled and entered into Weavis, so that we're making sure every kid is counted and they're in every place they need to be, because Weavis is a beast. So we don't want to miss anything that might be, because I think this report was 2 kids over or under? Under. This was 2
No, this
over.
one's over.
Than another report we're running in Weavis. So just a discrepancy of kids from one report to the other. There's something we're not doing correctly or that's being lost.
Right.
Yeah. So we got to figure out what that is. And then we're going to hopefully work with the principals and the secretaries to train them once we figure out what that is. But we're being proactive on that and trying to get ahead of it before October 1st, which is our goal. So every kid can count. Did you remember? Okay.
Sure did, Sarah's help.
Okay, good.
Had a chance to review the energy savings contract from
Yes.
ESG that Ms. Blackwell had sent me. She's coming
To the next board meeting.
Next
Mhm.
board meeting. And there wasn't anything that I saw that really jumped out as concerning, any language, a lot of the things we talked about earlier. From your all side, as far as like open liability or anything of that nature, Mr. Earl did help me with interpreting some of the tax language, if there were taxes filed, but nothing concerning in there. So just FYI for you all on that, and I'll have copies for you for that next meeting too, just for you all to lay eyes on, and we can discuss a little bit more too, just to make sure questions are answered and that sort of thing.
Yeah. And she'll come to the next meeting and it'll be the actual, this is the plan that we think will save Hardee County Schools money, which will be when you guys will have to review that, take a look at that contract, and decide at that point if you want to proceed with them and let them do some of the work that they're looking at. So that'll be the meeting that'll have the information.
I'll make sure I bring coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get you a copy. We'll get you a copy. And that's all I have. Like, that wasn't enough.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Okay. Future agenda items. We
I can
know
see.
ESG.
Miss Blackwell, yeah.
So, maybe we should go into executive session to discuss personnel issue. Do we have anything with personnel that we're hiring this evening?
You have this whole list.
Half our staff.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah. Well, I'd make a motion that we go into a short executive session to discuss,
Do you want to do announcements and mission
Let's
statements
do a
before you
mission
do
statement
that?
first and
oh,
then
okay,
next
okay,
meeting.
sure. So our next meeting is going to be October 6th at Board of Ed, at 5:00. Mission statements and accomplishments. I have one thing. I want to say kudos to our friend here that gave the athletic boosters $5,000, which was a wonderful, wonderful gift in honor of his father and George Hott and
Jim Hardy,
and
And
one more.
Rose Armitage.
Okay, yeah.
That was nice.
I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
I agree.
Very,
Thank
very much.
Well,
Very generous, very
Appreciate
generous,
it.
Mr. Hines.
I want to thank the class of 1990 for inviting Bill Keller and myself to their 35th class reunion at O'Neill's. It was great. I knew I told Bill, he said, he really didn't want to go because this was the first time he was ever invited. And this was only the second time I was invited. And I said, don't worry, I know everybody. And I did.
That's amazing.
I mean, I didn't know their spouses, but
That's
I'll never
amazing.
forget the one girl, she said, Mr. Hines, you used to get my ham or my cheeseburger because she wouldn't eat it. And when I was on lunch duty, I'd always eat it. And then
That's so. There you go. That's the solution.
another one said, when we had remember when we had the jukebox? Were you there?
Yes.
Okay. I played one song and I can't remember. I don't know. Song of the South or, you know.
Alex, Song of the South.
Okay,
Sweet
I played
Potato
it, yeah.
Pie. Yes,
Yes.
that was on all the time.
Yeah, I played it.
Yes,
But it was really
all the
special.
time. I remember that too. A year ahead.
I feel like I missed out. I didn't have a jukebox. I had the ice cream machine and the juice machine, but
I brought back, like I said, I brought back the ice cream. We'd never had the jukebox, but that was, you know,
that's cool.
it was, well, it was really nice.
And I'm sure you could go around to each boy who was on the football team and tell him how
Well,
many
the
touchdowns
thing
he
in that,
had, how many tackles.
you know,
What the score
and
was
it's
in the
really
Moorfield
ironic, Janet, you said
Petersburg
that.
game.
That was the first girls team at Moorfield High School that had ever made the state. They were undefeated. And they lost in the first round of the state championship. The football team would have made it that year. They were in a tiebreaker. They only took 8 teams. They were 7-3, and we were in a tiebreaker with another
Okay.
team, and you go by who you played and stuff. And then we made the state in baseball that year, and we were runners up. So even back then, athletics, you know, were still
That's
pretty
cool.
good.
It's really nice that they invited you.
But yeah, it was real special.
Yeah. Okay, so now are we ready to go into executive session?
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion and a second to go into executive session. All those in favor? It's approved 4-0.
Ready?
I'm making a mess. Okay, there we go.
Motion
I
to
got it.
come out of executive session.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to come out of executive session with no action taken.
All right, ready for personnel?
We are.
Vote to come out, sorry. Did you say you needed to vote?
Need to vote.
No,
Need to
they
vote. We need to vote.
You did?
They voted to come out of executive session.
Oh, okay.
Good.
I thought
They're
we
saying they
did.
didn't.
You want to vote
She said
again?
for it.
I don't know.
So we're out of executive session with no action taken, 4-0.
Okey doke. All right, I'm going to start with number 55 for Mr. Hines.
Right, I'm going to abstain because I wrote in the letter of recommendation.
All right, so we'll recommend the approval of the professional personnel hiring for Brandon Wolf, substitute teacher countywide.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Brandon Wolf as a substitute teacher countywide effective 2025-2026 school year. All those in favor?
Aye.
And I abstain. I abstain.
So we have 3 ayes and 1 abstention.
All right, and prepare yourselves because it's a long list. All right, I'm going to recommend the approval of leaves of absence for Kaisa Taylor and Teresa Myers. Kaisa's is September 3rd through October 15th, and Teresa's is August 20th through June 30th intermittently. I recommend the approval of days without pay for Caitlin Sturgill, September 22nd through November 22nd to the 27th, which is 27 and a half days. Recommend the approval of the service personnel hiring, Angela Robinette as substitute aide and Chloe Bradley as a substitute aide. The following are recommended approvals of extra pay as supervisory aides: Cheryl Sherman, Tammy Shingleton, Melinda Beiser, Amy Ketterman, Eileen Rosie Mungold, Jackie Cullors, Rhonda Kessner, Kaisa Taylor, Haley Hours, Ashley Lipscomb, Carrie Dolan, Haley Mungold, Sandy Hedrick, Rebecca Propst, Judy Hess, Kim Mungold, Stacy Redmond, Patricia Baker, Stacy Howell, Rhonda Susie Dolly, Heather Shirk, Stephanie Wetzel, Odessa Cullors, Christy C., Teresa Cook, Cheryl Ward, Desiree Lehman, Jennifer Champ, Lorena Snyder, Peggy Phoebus, Leslie Tingler, Jessica Bradfield, Emily Beck, Kelsey Miller, Monica Wilkins, Amanda Smith, Christina Coley, Jennifer May, Deanna Kivett, and Rebecca Haynes. I recommend the approval for extra pay for specialized healthcare procedures for Haley Mungold, Sherry Barb, Brianna Ratchford, Rhonda Seitz, Bethany Alt, Jenna Sevilla, and Teresa Rudy. I recommend the approval of professional personnel hiring for Amelia Wagner, Brenda Davis, Carmen Taylor, Tamara Weimer, Catherine Nutter, and Ethan Judy. I recommend the approval of part-time temporary professional personnel hirings for Jody Shoebridge, both as the Human Resource and Attendance Special Projects Assistant and as the Test Administrator Site Coordinator, Jennifer Butts as an Academic Interventionist. I recommend the approval of the professional personnel extracurricular hirings for Jarrett Dayton as Test Coordinator, Jacqueline C. Leadership Team, Timothy Kreitz Leadership Team, Linda Wright and Leadership Team, Melissa Riggleman Leadership Team, Gretchen Craman Leadership Team, Stephanie Simmons Leadership Team, Jennifer Rush Leadership Team, Rachel Williams Leadership Team, Sarah Orndorff, the Virtual School Assistant Coordinator, Sarah Orndorff as Alternative Ed After School, Jennifer C. as the SAT Coordinator. At MIS, Timothy Kreitz is the Safety Committee Chair, Pest Control Chair, and Facility Maintenance Monitor and Crisis Team Member. At Moorfield High, Jacqueline C., Discipline Data Analyst at Moorfield High. Paul Keplinger, Safety Committee Chair, Pest Control Chair, Facility Monitor, and Crisis Team Member at MMS. Rachel Williams, the Student Council Co-Coordinator. Jennifer Rush, as Student Council Co-Coordinator, both at MMS. Christine Nazelrod as the 21st Century Program Site Coordinator. Amy Barr, 21st Century Program Site Coordinator. Crystal Atkinson as the 21st Century Program program teacher at East Hardy Elementary School. Deborah Beck is the 21st century program teacher at East Hardy Elementary School. Megan Dispinet and Lauren Smith, co-applicants for the 21st century program teacher. Rebecca Trent, 21st century program teacher at East Hardy Elementary School. Kendra Mullen as the 21st century program site coordinator at East Hardy Elementary. Recommend the approval of the 3-step salary increases for the following individuals: Jillian Jones, Timothy Kreitz, Angela Taylor, Linda Wright, Jeffrey Rush, Michelin Williams, Aaron Everson, Betsy Swick, Stephanie Simmons, Tammy Gilbert, Jennifer Rush, Amelia Wagner, Tracy Craig, Jessica Godlove, Sharon Oval, Holly Howard, Melanie Mungold, Jordan Mungold, Jeremy Roomer, Jessica Thorne, Rebecca Trent, Noah Orndorff, Heather Evans, Megan Dispinet, Melody Leatherman, Mark Harkleroad, Alicia Porter, Chelsea Black, Aisha Combs, Emma Smith, Amanda C. Brill. I recommend the approval of a reclassification for Ashley Mills from a custodian 2, pay grade B, to a custodian 3, pay grade C, effective July 1st of 2025. Recommend the approval of the athletic hirings for Anthony Dolan, authorized certified coach without pay for MMS, Jolie Tharp, athletic trainer for football at East Hardy High School, Allison Heflin, authorized certified coach without pay for archery at East Hardy Elementary. Jacob Matheny is the unpaid assistant limited football trainer at Moorfield High School. I recommend the approval of the following volunteers: Caleb Humberson, volunteer at East Hardy High; Caitlin Fisher, volunteer at East Hardy Elementary; Sheena Moyers, volunteer at East Hardy Elementary; Katie Branson, volunteer at East Hardy Elementary; and Alicia Foltz, volunteer at East Hardy Elementary. I recommend the following resignations: Dennis Hill as a substitute teacher countywide; Amelia Wagner, a special education teacher at Moorfield Intermediate School; Mary Catherine Slack as the family and consumer science teacher at Moorfield High, effective June 30th, 2026 for retirement.
Motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation concerning personnel.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to accept the superintendent's recommendation for the 130 staff. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And they're approved for a
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, we're good. Thank you all so much.